So some of the things, reasons why the library would want to do it, uh, you're sharing seeds brings people into the library. It's a form of outreach. There's many people, especially in our community, it's a farming rural area. There are many people interested in gardening. And sometimes they don't even know that they want to garden. And, you can just have a small garden, a container garden, or a big garden, so there's a lot of people out there that are interested. And by sharing and saving seeds, we become stewards of seeds. It helps with biodiversity and fights extinction for different varieties. It also helps the environment. It improves flavors and varieties. And many seed varieties have been lost through the ages, but seed libraries are helping preserve those varieties and others. So for the public, for them to come in and get seeds, it's totally free. They can save money on groceries. They can learn how to grow their own food. They kind of become a little bit more self-reliant. Let's make sure we're speaking the same language. So like I said, we do not save any seeds that are like GMO or F1 seeds. Like a lot of times you'll go into, Walmart and you'll get a pack of seeds, or the Dollar General or wherever. A lot of those seeds are those kind of seeds. The seeds that we save are all either heirloom or open pollinated, which means if they're properly saved or isolated from other varieties in the same plant species, they'll produce seeds that are genetically true to type. The new seed that you save will be very much like its parent plant. So while an open pollinated seed is what we save, heirloom seeds are also open pollinated, but they're at least 50 years old and usually have a seed story. They predate open pollinated varieties and the whole science behind that. Like, for example, my grandma used to save seeds, and the seeds that she saved were heirloom varieties. She had them, her parents had them, she'd save them every year because they didn't have Walmart, you know what I mean? Or whatever it was. So she just saved her seeds and grew them the next year. She always grew these, to me, I believe they were yellow pear tomatoes, but I'm not sure because she didn't really know the variety. But it's just, it's a neat kind of thing to do, and it really helps the environment. So right here, these seeds right here, there's, I think, 8 different kinds, and they're all bean seeds. So all different kinds of variety of 8 different bean seeds. These ones, these little orange ones, I believe those are provider beans. And these are all just different kinds of varieties that you would grow every year. Bean seeds are like one of the easiest seeds to save from your garden. So like if you want to start out slow, you could, if you're trying to just learn how to save seeds, the very first seed that you could save would be the green beans. Like you grow a provider bean, you leave them out on the vine, you just let them grow and save some of the seeds, the actual pods that they're in out there, and you will have seeds for next year. They're easy to save. You don't have to really isolate them too much because they're just they don't really cross. So there's many kinds of like green bean seeds, but this just shows some more of them. I just thought it was kind of neat, all the different varieties that they have. So diversity is really important in the seed business. 90% of the world's food is produced by only 30 plants. 4 of these plants provide 75 of all calories consumed. And I really didn't believe this number, like at first, because it just didn't seem real, but it is. And those 4 kinds of foods are corn, soy, wheat, and rice. So biodiversity is really important. Like I like to grow different kinds of beans, just putting them out there into the earth. So I'm just going to give a basic example of what is biodiversity. It's essential for the process that supports all life on Earth. It includes humans. It's without a wide range of animals, plants, and microorganisms, we cannot have the healthy ecosystems that we rely on to provide us with the air we breathe and the food we eat. So the seed library really helps the environment. Do we have a question? I heard a ding. Oh, you're muted.
There is one, but you might touch on it later. It's, how do you store, how do you display, and what does your seed library look like?
Okay, yeah, I think we might cover that here in a minute. Okay. So there's many great varieties that have never seen the fame of commercial seed catalogs. Like you just don't see them anymore. It's starting to get more popular now. Now, I mean, because like there's 165 seed libraries in Michigan alone, which from when I started, there was like 12 or 10 or something. So it's starting to be a bigger thing, and we're starting to see more of these varieties that we used to save back 50 years ago. This here is this is just I've got a few examples here of some of the heirloom varieties that are coming out more. This is the Thornburns terracotta tomato. It's a heirloom. I'm not exactly sure how many, it's super old, but you don't really see these in grocery stores, too much. So it's kind of neat to see all the different varieties that they have. I found a cool one that I've never grown this one that's coming up next, but I thought it was neat. It's King Tut purple pea. And supposedly they can trace the history of this seed back to King Tut, like, I don't know, 2,500 years ago or whatever it was. So, I mean, you can just see all the different kinds of varieties. Oh, I did it again. Gotta go back. Sorry, folks. Okay, so here's one of the things that we do to I've got an old seed catalog, and it's oh geez. Sorry. I don't know where I got it. It was from Bad Axe, or I don't know where it came from, but Aaron found it for me. And here's the, oh geez. I'm sorry. There it is. Okay, I'm not gonna touch it. So she found an old seed catalog for me, and at first, when I first started doing this, it's kind of still a big mess, but I was like, it was just like in boxes, all my seeds, they were like stored everywhere. But now we have a seed catalog, and I just wheel it around the library. Like I have it in my office right now, and I'm doing all the seeds right now and filling out all the things. And, sometimes it looks like a crazy mess because it is. So and I make these little labels that are underneath when I, separate the seeds. So like I said, we started the seed library in 2012. There was a webinar put out by the Pima County Library. They actually gave us our first donation from them and the Seed Savers Exchange. It was about $30 to start it out, but now years later, the prices for like shipping have went up. So it's more expensive, but I mean, it's really not that bad. You just really need the seeds, the labels, coin envelopes. That's what I use. Um, it's, and you can start out super small. Like you don't have to have a seed catalog. You could use, little things from the dollar store. That's how I started out. I mean, it's all just how you want to do it. So the first thing, I am so sorry I pressed the button one more time. I just got to get back to that. There. Okay. Everybody sees that, right? Just want to make sure. Okay. So like I said, the seed library, it's not a one size fit all. You can start out very small and just have like a few seeds to hand out at the beginning of the season. It can get big like mine has gotten, where I'm getting donations back from people and I'm putting seeds out, because that's the goal, is to like be self-sustaining. Like over the course of the pandemic, things, nobody was coming in. We didn't get a lot of donations, but I mean, I'm not totally self-sustaining, but I do get seeds back. So, you just do it as you can. You don't have to start out, super big. You can reach out to your community. There's garden clubs, community gardens, schools. The MSU extension is a really super good, people to be involved with. Can you use volunteers to help with your setup? Like I said, start small and grow over time. That's what we've done. I gotta choose. There we go. So, a lot of the big questions is like, well, do you check out the seeds? Do you actually check them out and put like barcodes on them? You can do that. Some people do. I do not. All the things that are in my seed library, it's just, I allow them to come in and get like 10 packs at a time, 10 seed packs at a time. And they could just come in and take them. And I don't expect them to, it's not like they're gonna get a late fee if they don't bring seeds back. It's all up to you. So, some people do that. They gather, they put them into a barcode on them and check them out. I've never done that. That's just not my thing. We have these little sheets that they fill out. So, and like I said, I let them take 10 packs per visit. Our annual seed, opening is in March, towards the end of March. And they come in that day and I let them come in and I've got all the seeds spread out and they take 10 packs. And then after the seed opener, I put the seed library out into the public and I've got my little slips and then they just turn them in. And then I know what they took. So if they bring them back after they save them, then I know that it was, say, provider bean that they took. And, in case they come back with just a baggie full of seeds, because that happens sometimes. And the next question, do you require seeds only to be taken if the patron can return? So we just encourage best practices, requests only. We don't require, because sometimes they don't end up growing or the weather messes it up, or some seeds are hard to save correctly. You don't want them trying to save seeds that you have to that could cross pollinate. The easiest seeds to save are beans, peas, lettuce, and tomatoes. So the lending rules apply from library to library, and just do what works best for you. This is a graphic from the Tamarack Seed Library, and I just thought this is the basic premise. Select the seeds, sow the seeds, share the seeds. That's kind of the deal. At the end of the season, we suggest that our patrons try to save an easy seed, like I said, beans, peas, or lettuce, if they have no seeds saving experience. I mean, and that's the goal, is always trying to get the people to bring the seeds back, because sometimes, during the pandemic, nobody was bringing seeds back, so that's just kind of the goal. So where do the seeds come from? Like I said, the Seed Saver Exchange, it's a seed company. Heirloom open pollinated varieties, they're one of the biggest. Baker Creek Seeds, the Hudson Valley Seed Library, the first seed library in the United States. The guy was a librarian and he went commercial and became a seed library, and now he's got a big, huge business out in New York. He's a really cool guy. Those are just some of the places that you can go. Your patrons can donate them, but always say, if you don't want hybrids or GMOs in your collection, then you just say heirloom and open pollinated. I have a donation form that the patrons use. So when you get the seeds from the donation place, a lot of times there'll be like 200 seeds in a lettuce packet. So, you get the little coin envelopes and you repurpose the package that you have, and you could make like 20 packs of lettuce seeds, because nobody uses all those seeds usually. There's many more that you can hand out to people. So it can be broken down into several more. Sometimes you could have like a seed stuffing party where volunteers come in to do that. I've done that in the past. We usually do it before March. I'm still working on all my seeds right now because life's been crazy here. I've used these little tiny plastic envelopes, but I found that the paper coin envelopes that you can buy from like Office Max or whatever. Those are really nice. They're, you know, they're just paper. I like those better. Those are what I use, but everyone is different. I actually print out labels from my computer. They're like 2x4 little labels, but you could handwrite them if you didn't have that kind of thing. And then to organize your seeds, are you gonna do it alphabetically by the variety, seed saving ease? I have enough room where I have like a bean row, a bean drawer, I have a pea drawer, I have a pepper drawer. So I've got like, I don't know, 16 or 20 slots. Or, you know, like I said, you could always just use the little things at the Dollar Tree to put those in and have them out displayed. It's up to you. It's whatever you have, you know? I mean, it doesn't have to be a big ordeal. So this is just one of this is the coin envelopes. And these are, you know, some of the seed packets, just giving an example of how I do it. There's a lot of network connections that you can make out in your community. Like I said, the MSU extension. I don't know if you have that wherever you live. Some small farms. There's master gardeners, there's greenhouses. Some of the people that I've met along the way, I'm gonna get to that in just a second. This is just kind of our mission statement about what we do here at the Caro Library and about us. And that's kind of an important thing to have, you know, just so that it's a basic premise of what your seed library is. And then this is kind of our evolution of our seed library. We started in 2012. Then we started the Homegrown Food Series where we have programming for like beekeeping, canning classes, composting, cooking. I used to have one every single month from March until September, but I've kind of backed away from that because I've got so much going on. But it's kind of neat to just have like a garden class at the beginning of the year. Like during our seed library opener, we're having one of my mentors come in and talk about how to start tomato seeds. So that's in March, the end of March. And you know, you just meet all these kind of people networking through. This guy that used to live here, and I'm gonna show his picture in a minute. He's passed away now, but he was like my biggest encourager, and he like gave us a square foot garden and started our seed garden library. I mean, it's really cool how all the people that you meet along the way. Yeah, so now we have 5 square foot gardens in the backyard. And so this past year, I had a small fence up, but the deer came and like ravished my garden this year. I don't know, it's never happened in 12 years that I've been out there. But this past year, they just devastated it. So I actually wrote a grant and I got a grant for this library fence, and it's gonna hopefully keep the deer out of there. It's awesome. I'm gonna show you a picture right here in a sec. So Jim Will, from Will's Greenhouse, he passed away, I think, 2 years ago. Anyway, he's the one I made friends with and talked to him about saving seeds, and he would come and do a presentation every year about seed libraries and seed gardens. And you know, you just meet a lot of people. He's really made a impression on me, and I always like to show his picture because he's one of the reasons we're here today. So I mean, this is the first garden this is a square foot garden that he built for us and brought to our library, and brought the dirt and everything. So it's been a work in progress. This is the fence that we got built from the grant. So this was just a few days ago. Some other considerations, and there's tons of information out there. The Seed Savers Exchange, they've got like little webinars, tutorials that you can learn about seed saving and the cross-pollination. Ben Cohen is the guy that's coming to speak for me. I don't know if you guys have ever heard of him, but he's a really good presenter. He owns Small House Farms in Sanford, and he has a huge seed swap coming up next weekend out towards Midland, if anyone's interested. You could probably get tons of free seeds if you go to it. It's a really cool event. And there's a lot of education there too. They have like, it's like a conference and it's all free. So, the Michigan Seed Library, it's on Facebook. I've got the little link there. They also do one seed, one state initiative. All the libraries and seed libraries in Michigan can grow the same seeds. Like they send out packs of them. It's this year or last year it was Grand Rapids lettuce. I don't know what it's going to be this year, but they'll send you those if you request to get it, and then you can all grow the same seed and then try to save that seed for your library. It's a really cool initiative. Just a lot of networking. So here's some of the resources that I've used along the way to get my seed library going. And that's my ending.
So Melissa, there's a couple questions in the
Sure.
chat. Do you have any examples of the slips you have them fill out? So,
I don't have it. I mean, it's really a simple little form. It's just like name, phone number, email. I ask if you've ever saved seeds before, and then it just asks what seeds you took, the variety name. I'm sorry, I should have done that,
that's
but
okay, that's all right. And then are your seeds just food related, or do you also have flower seeds?
I do. I have vegetable seeds, herbs, flowers, you name it. I've even had berries actually before.
Nice.
Yeah, we take it all. I mean, there are some weird well, not weird, but some flowers that are like kind of poisonous. Like that you kind of got to watch out for. Like it was like moon something or other. And I just didn't put those in our collection because I didn't want someone to get, you know what I mean? Like sick. Like I just gave them away to someone I knew, and they knew that they were, they're not like, some of them are like deadly poisonous, but they could be. So
Right.
you got to kind of be careful of that.
So it looks like Tammy said it's dill this year, so that must be the one seed, one
Oh, okay.
state
Yeah.
initiative.
Oh, cool. That a nice herb. That'll be a nice change.
Okay, the one seed, one state dill, Long Island, mammoth dill. There we go. Jennifer commented.
Oh, good. So you guys are already ahead of the game. I don't even know what it is.
Where do you find your growing information to put on your labels?
Oh, okay. So, a lot of times like Baker, they send you with a big pack of seeds and it'll say on there, like, and I don't go into, it's like you could copy and paste that whole thing, but I don't like, sometimes like, cause you'll want to know like how many days it usually takes. Sometimes they don't put that. So then I'm Googling this stuff. So, I mean, that certain variety, you would have to write, the whole thing, but, yeah, you have to, and then you have to write it out. I just do a brief, like what is the variety? Where, like if it's Baker Creek, I sometimes write Baker Creek, the days it takes, and then sometimes it'll say like direct sow that, do it right in the ground. You don't have to start them inside. So yeah, that does take a little bit of work.
Do you have step-by-step instructions about saving seeds? Like, do you give patrons something so they know how to do it?
Yeah, I have just these handouts that I get from like Seed Savers Exchange or I can't think of the name of it, but it's just a handout and it'll be like beans. Doesn't cross pollinate usually, you know what I mean? So you could grow like provider beans and they wouldn't cross if that's the only bean you had in your garden. Yeah, I do. I've got like little handouts from uh Seed Savers, and I think Baker Creek has that too. But just different things on the internet is where I found them.
So, will you send me your PowerPoint? And then if you
Sure.
could also maybe send me one of those handouts and then maybe the slip you used too, and I can share
Absolutely.
that
Absolutely. That's
with
a great idea.
everyone. So I did have a question too, like, um, when you get seeds back, how do you know they aren't F1 or GMO? I mean,
Well, you don't, I mean,
yeah,
like you hope that they're not, and they won't grow to be like,
well,
so,
yeah, that's true.
you're trusting in the people that are saving them. So you get people, that you know that really did, you know what I mean? Like tried to
Mhm.
save them, you know, like properly. So, and then I hand those out. It just, I mean, you don't always know. There's no,
Yeah,
I have this, it's a little thing, it's like a pledge that you'll try your best, you know, but there's no, who'd
yeah,
want to do that though? Like gives, you know what I mean? But like sometimes they don't grow, you know, and that's you also, that's the thing that happens. Like maybe they didn't save them properly and they just don't grow back that next year. Or they had a low rate of, what do you call that? A low rate of germination, you know? So yeah, there's problems, you know what I mean? Like it's
sure.
not a perfect system, but
Yeah. Um, do you keep any type of, I hate to call them circulation stats, but you said you don't check them out, but do you keep track?
yeah. All those little slips. I got it.
Okay.
I keep track of all those and I count them. I do it once a month, so that it's not like an overwhelming task like over the whole summer. So I keep track of them once a month and put them into a spreadsheet.
Cool, cool.
Yeah.
Danielle, I have a quick question for you. Do you have a disclaimer that you, when people come in and pick up the seeds from you, that they might not grow because you don't know that, that someone gave you GMO seeds?
You know, that's never happened.
Okay.
No one's ever you know what I mean?
Well,
But I mean,
every now
that's
and then
not a
we have
bad
those
idea.
complainers.
Yeah, I mean, yeah, there might be like some sort of, you know, little thing on my little sign that I have that says, you know, you're taking your chances. I have never ran into that yet, but that's a good point.
In the chat, Jennifer says there's a great webinar in Web Junction that helped too.
Yes,
So,
yeah.
and
That
I'm
might have
really,
been from the Pima library. I'm not
oh,
positive,
maybe.
but
I'm just amazed that when you started over a decade ago, there were like 10 or 12, and now there's up to like 165. That's just incredible to me.
yeah,
Really
it's a neat
incredible.
thing. It really is. I'm really passionate about it. It's been one of my favorite things to do over the last however long.
All right. Does anybody else have oh, now you did mention some are direct sow, but some you start
Hmm.
inside. And I've seen your
Yeah.
office where you've done that.
Yeah. You've seen
I've
the,
seen that. And it's encouraging because it's the winter and you're like, oh my gosh, she's got stuff growing right here. It's so cool.
yeah,
Um, how
I have a lot of,
do you balance that out? Like, do you figure, well, we're gonna try to do more so that we sow directly, or do you because you're limited space, right? So
totally limited space. Yeah, you
yeah.
saw my office. Like you said, you saw my office. So right now I've got a bunch of succulents in there that I'm growing, but so yeah, it just depends. Like, so last year I cheated and I went to an heirloom greenhouse and bought my tomato plants there. Because it's hard to, you know, sometimes grow tomato plants if you don't have all the right equipment and that, you know, so the one of the ladies I've met through you know, saving seeds, she has a greenhouse towards kind of in the Highland area. And I just went and bought her heirloom tomato plants because they're beautiful and I can just plant them in my garden and save the seed. But all the deer took all my seeds this year, every single seed. So I didn't get to save anything because the deer destroyed. And that's never happened before. It never, ever, ever. It was a really weird thing. So
Do you have a lot of Amish that you swap seeds with, or
there's maybe one or two, but for some, we don't get as many as like some other areas would. Like, I know Millington has a lot of Amish people, so no,
I was
but
just
that would be
curious
great.
about
That is
that,
one of the people that you could reach out to. Yeah, the
right?
Amish save their seeds. Yeah,
Especially tomatoes for
right,
sure. I mean, I
right.
do remember that. So, um, yeah. Um, thanks for the great information. Can't wait to empty our card catalog and use it for seeds. Lucky you, Ruth, that you have one. Um, FYI, I think your catalog came from the Brown City Elementary School. How about
I
that?
think you're right. Yeah, I knew
How
it was a
about that?
B. I was like bad eggs. I don't know. Yeah, yeah, that's probably at Brown City. Yeah.
Well, I know Cass City has, they started a seed lending library, and they didn't have a card catalog to put their seeds in, but they had one of the staff husband works at like an automotive garage, and he had
Sure.
these tall metal cabinets
Yeah,
that had small, probably held different bolts or nuts or whatever. And then they painted it with, in whatever automotive paint or whatever, and that's what they use. So I mean, you can improvise, and like Melissa said, start with just small plastic containers from like the dollar store, if that's
yeah, that's how a lot of people do it. I mean,
yeah.
when I first started, it was like a cardboard box. I mean, and then, Aaron's like that, it looked terrible, you know what I mean? I'm like, well, I know where my seeds are. So now I've got, it's kind of organized, kind of. Yeah, and I got seeds everywhere, so that's how it is from like February through March is like Seedville, it's fun.
And so is it basically like at the beginning of the year that you start reaching out for seeds?
Yeah, yeah, because
Okay.
usually like during like the end of the year, they're trying to finish up all their stuff at like like Baker Creek. And then they'll start sending stuff out in January. That's
Okay.
how I've normally done it in the past.
Okay. And then you do your seed distribution at the end of March,
Right, yep.
typically. Yeah.
Yeah, we open it up. We usually just leave the seed library out in the library, and then in February, I pull it back into my office and I start filling it, getting all the seeds ready, and then I put it out like that day. I think it's March 24th or something.
Cool. Very
It's a
cool.
Monday, but maybe the 25th. But yeah, this is fun to talk about it because I've been so busy with everything else. It's a good way to get, excited, so I
Yeah.
hope everybody learns something at least.
Do
And
you do programming for kids too, so that they get interested in it?
yes, we have in the past. Yeah, we have in the past. We've like every year, when the kids do a tour,
Yeah.
we'll hand out, if I have extra seeds, we'll hand out seeds to the kids, and they can
Very
take
cool.
home the seeds. Yeah, I've got a lot of seeds now, and someone just brought in like these pollinators and just put them in the seed library, and it's for they're flowers. So like I've got tons of those kind of seeds. So they're just already in the seed library. It's kind of neat.
Very cool. Very cool. Does anybody else have any other questions for Melissa? Any comments, anything? All right, well, we really appreciate your time.
Well, I appreciate this. It was great.
Yeah.
I haven't done this in a while and I needed to get excited and it's good.
Good. Well, I learned a lot. I didn't know. I mean, I typically try to save flower seeds every year, and
Sure.
I've gotten really good at zinnias. And I love zinnias. So
Good.
they have just, I mean, thousands of seeds that come off of zinnias,
Yes. Yeah.
which is great because I love them. So,
Right.
and they're hardy. They're hardy.
Yeah. I love zinnias too.
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah.
All right. Well, no one else has questions. Oh, wait, maybe there's. Thank you, Melissa. Great. Thank you. Okay. So some thank yous in the chat. So
Thank you. That was nice.
yeah, we'll end it here, and thanks everybody for coming, and have a great Valentine's Day and a great rest of your week.
Thanks, Kate.
Melissa. Uh-oh, somebody wants in.
I don't know. I can't get off here, Kate. I'm turning into I need to go to Old People Island.
You did great. You did great. And I think the thing that you know, when we're asked to do presentations, like, you know more about the topic. You always have to keep that in mind. You know more about it than they do. So you've got they're gonna listen to you. And whether or not the
I know, it's
PowerPoint,
just been a hot minute. It's
Oh,
like.
but when the PowerPoint goes or doesn't go, I mean, you have that knowledge and you did
Right,
great.
yeah, right.
You did great. So I really appreciate
All
that.
right, thanks a
Yeah.
lot.
You
I
take
think I
care.
know
Oh,
how
and
to
if
get
you
on
could
it.
send me, if you could email me the PowerPoint and then the handout and the slip, that would be great.
Yes, I will.
Thank
The
you.
slips, yes. Okay, I'll talk at you later.
Okay, take care. Bye-bye.